So, as I said, there was some real strong feelings of personalization that came up, and I they were so strong, or they appeared to be so strong that I knew that I had to supersede the causal realm. I wouldn't be able to deal with them effectively in the causal realm. So how I did it for me was I dropped everything. And the first question that I habitually ask myself is, am I suffering? I ask the question, I go silent, there's nothing and no one. So from the place of am I suffering, I say, well, who is suffering? There appears to be a sufferer. Again, you're met with silence. And then the walking back to the top state it's obviously you don't have to, but I find it useful to close my eyes and investigate, am I a body? So the direct experience is I'm not a body.
Mm.
Is there any time here? It's timeless. Do I have any enemies?
Mm.
Silence. Am I an enemy to anybody? Silence. And it was the going back to the ageless self. How old am I? There's no age. And then the question that killed everything was I born? And the mind it was as if the mind was at the doorway, saying you was born. And so I said, well, if I was born, where's my evidence? The mind went silent. I said, because the only evidence that I've got of birth is a belief. My parents told me, my family told me, oh, you was born on this day at this time. It's a belief. Am I a belief? Hmm. Belief is seen. So if belief is seen, it's not who I am.
Yeah.
And then the mind was sort of saying, well, you don't remember. I said, but that you don't remember is seen. Who is that? It's a thought. And I laughed. I just spontaneously had a real belly laugh. And then I went a little bit deeper. I said, so when the body form goes to sleep, who knows that it goes into an extremely deep, deep, deep sleep? I do. So I am the knower, knowing, but not knowing.
Yeah.
And then I put the killer question in. So if there's no birth, where is death? Can I die? Do I need any security? A little bit of turbulence come up, and I watched it and I watched it and I watched it. And I said, this is the fear of death, and it is seen. And it just fell. The whole thing fell. And then so much clarity came as to my secondary purpose. And once the secondary purpose was truly established, every thought that had been knocking me on my shoulder, I don't even remember them now. So that is how I did it. That's how
Wow.
I overcome the 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 strong emotions of identity of wanting control and
Yeah.
security and approval and wanting to be
Yeah.
special and separate. And I just said, that's not who I am.
Yeah.
And it comes down to the honesty. It comes because when a feeling of jealousy comes, to confront that, because it feels very, very personal, to say, hold on a minute,
Mhm.
what is there to be jealous of? Who is jealous? Can I be jealous? And
Yeah.
it's that honesty, that openness of, but I am aware of you. So I was it was very therapeutic, because the understanding that anything that I experience, I put it there. I may not remember when, but I did, because without me being present, nothing exists, nothing. So I must have been the troublemaker in the fields.
Yeah. I like how you went to your direct experience.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Yeah. Referring to what's here.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
truly amazing. It is amazing, really.
Yesterday morning I woke up and something sunk in even deeper. For me, it's been just not even 2 years, and I didn't know anything about non-duality. So there was a lot of catching up to be done.
Mm,
What is all of this? What are they talking about?
mm,
And yesterday morning, there was this sense, oh, everything is just being.
mm.
There is not even one being, because one makes it separate.
Yeah, yeah,
Everything and everyone is just being. There is just being
yes,
here.
yes.
Yeah.
Because one of the questions that I'm just going to refer to it on my email. One of the questions that we put to the group was, let's have a look. What happens to the self-realized being after realization? And I think we've just spoke about that because we have both become self-realized to our true nature. And for me personally, challenges do still come, but they're not felt as challenging. Because I think it's the level of consciousness, because that can be different for everybody according to our patterns and beliefs and all sorts. But for me, since self-realization, um, I see them for what they are. I, Even though sometimes I feel personally identified with them, very quickly I realize that this is a program. And
Yeah.
yesterday I did have to go to the very top state where there was no good, no bad, nothing, not even the feeling of love, nothing was there, to dissolve that feeling of jealousy, walking that feeling of jealousy back. Why would jealousy be here? What is jealousy standing on? Jealousy is saying that somebody has more than another person. So, what is the person who is jealous? Why would that must sit on something? Oh, it's sitting on wanting to be approved, wanting to be loved. So there was that aspect that I was carrying that wants to be loved.
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned it on Sunday, where we spoke. It was you and I actually. We spoke about since being self-realized, feelings can feel like they're really strong, and I, to my understanding, is that before self-realization, in the sleeping state, because we fall asleep to our true nature, those feelings are always present, but they're very subtle. And we've turned the light on now, and it looks massive, but it's always been that size. It's just that we've
Yeah.
got more of an awareness to accommodate it. And then, of course, you've got the collective. You also have the collective, because we don't actually own the
Yeah.
emotions, but they do feel personal. They do feel sticky.
Yeah.
It's about being honest. Yes, they do feel like that.
And the thought is also collectively, jealousy exists
Yes,
collectively.
yes,
It's the state or the apparent world we're in
mm,
is this collective belief in separation and jealousy and
mm,
going somewhere, attaining something,
yeah,
being someone.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel
And
passionate about that.
yeah, there was something really strong that appeared with which I did identify. We had such a lovely meeting where we laughed, and there was this, there is this love and this unity and this space of a non-judgment, because when we self-realize, judgment is seen for what it is. It just dissolves. it's non-apparent
mm, mm,
because
yeah,
it's not so it was felt as, I guess, with a lot of people, they feel this, it's also part of the collective to not fit, I don't fit in, this this thought of not fitting anywhere.
mm,
And at the same time, I'm not sure if it's common for people that are close to self-realization, or that they, I'll speak for myself. I always thought, that's not it. I was searching for that.
mm,
I didn't know what I was searching for.
mm,
And anytime I would be, I would never feel that I belong in any group. And with the meeting that we had, there was such a like a kind of a belonging, and at the same time not, because there is this sovereignty of it's okay, things can come and go, and this sense of peace and stability is always there. So there is not like a real attachment,
mm,
but there was this first time I was like, like a belonging kind
mm,
of.
yeah,
And so that brought up something that was deep in the subconscious, or in the tendency that were there my whole life, to feel, I had this belief that I would be left on my own, that people would leave me. And
mm,
so it came up very strong, and I started to identify with that. And I had to really welcome it and see it for what it is. It's like a turbulence. It's and I, at the same time, I knew if I start to believe that, this will happen. It will be created. It will be, yeah. So I had a choice, like, kind of. I know it's not like a real choice, but there was something like, okay, no, it's done. This is done. This is a belief. This is a thought. This is and it's an discomfort in the body that has to be welcome, seen, let go,
mm,
and the whole thing like dissolved.
yeah,
Yeah, so the difference probably is it's not believed as it was, so it doesn't perpetuate itself, it doesn't last,
yes,
and it doesn't get created.
yes,
Yeah, there is an incapacity to totally believe it.
mm,
The doubt with self-realization, there is this ah, and it kind of,
yeah,
there
yeah.
was the crack, there is this crack now, and the light, yeah, the light is stronger.
Mm,
Yeah, and it's always surprising for me when something comes up, because I never know what it when it does, and I'm all like, oh, yeah, and it was really really strong at first, like the huge, like, big chunk
mm,
had to leave,
mm.
and then now it's more subtle and less frequent.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. It's like we cut the lifeline, don't we? When again,
yeah,
if I'm a really, I don't want to say a strong believer, but I really stand firm with when when turbulence comes, it's my sovereignty. If I want to sit in the causal and watch it, invite it to come back and dance and then say off you go. But for me, what solidifies and deals with things very quickly is to go straight to the top states. Just go to the Garden of Eden, where there's no good, no bad.
yeah,
Nobody's suffering. There's nothing, nothing, nothing. And it's got no ground to stand on. You just watch it walk out the door. Um,
yeah,
and then it's basking, I suppose, basking as the presence, in the presence. I like the way that you put it, Julie, a couple of weeks ago when you said the group of us that self-realized beings that meet up weekly, it's the field, in the field, being the field. I love the way that you put that.
Yeah, it's the work is done in the field, by the field.
By the field, yeah. And that's
It's not personal. We're not doing it.
no, it is all the field.
Yeah.
And again, it's I like what you said about belief, because belief is one of our powers, and we tend to find that everything that we experience was first believed, good and bad. We believed it into existence. Things cannot just exist without our express say so. So it's the self-realization for me. It was realizing one's true nature, that I exist. That's it.
Yeah.
Nothing. That's it. Full stop. There's
Yeah.
self-realization. I exist. I know.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. And also, I exist. It's also realizing the emotion has it has its law. There's a law. Emotions have a law. Thinkingness has a law. I don't have to interfere with them. If I
Yeah.
feel to create something, then I know what's available to me. Um, and um, I mean, I know language doesn't do this any good because there is no personal me, but it's just the field talking in the field from the fields, that we just have access to everything, everything.
Yeah. 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 And something that comes when you speak is when I self-realize my first, like, I was like, oh, I'm in a new dimension. There was this sense of the this is something I never, although we always are in it, it's just that it was not seen. The thought were so active, and I was into emotion and thought. And so for me, like, the thinking is the human dimension of time and space, and it's available, but it's not defining what I am.
No.
It's a tool.
Yes, yes, tool. Yes,
The mind is a tool to function,
yes.
to create, to speak, to in this dimension. So this sense of, and then when you were speaking about the causal, and the causal being energy, emotion, right? Yeah, that's another dimension. And if they're all put together, thinking, emotion, and body, then they create the person, the illusion of the person. These three as a package. But seen as dimension, it changes the clarity around it, and the capacity to see, oh, this is a thought, this is not me. And what is a belief is a thought that's been taught for so long that it becomes
Yeah.
unquestioned.
Yes, that's it. Unquestioned. An unquestioned thought is a belief. Yes, very powerful. Yes.
And common belief are everywhere, but they're just belief. It's not because the whole of humanity believe in something that it's true.
Yes.
Yeah, I say the whole, but
Yeah.
majority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, so questioning belief can be very powerful.
Mm.
Opening the mind to question belief.
Mm.
Mm.
Yes, because I know that you know the story of Amanda, from apathy, really really low, the bottom of the barrel, overnight, waking up to Christ consciousness. There was a massive gap of wow. So a lot of things fell away, huge chunks,
Mm.
literally. That
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
they, they was they're not even remembered. They're the comprehension of living such a life, I cannot accept it. There is no, we are acceptance, of course, but it feels like a really big lie. It is such a lie that never happens. That could never have happened. But I went on a journey. I say I went on a journey. It was very divine. It happened. It naturally happened. There was no sweating. There was no, what can I do next? Things were brought to me effortlessly. And the one thing that was brought to me was the working of the mind, how the mind works, and the higher faculties, the imagination, the perception, the will, the memory, and then the paradigm. And it could have just been my thinkingness, but the paradigm was something that I saw as a massive program that's going to take years to get rid of and to fix, change, and improve. And I was like a scientist with a mind. I ripped it to pieces to find nothing. There's nothing there. So all of this, I wouldn't change any of it because it has been useful. And like you say, it's an amazing tool to create that you can just have that thought, yeah, okay, go for it. And it does fall in your lap. But it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And when I,
Seems so real.
yeah, when I heard David, um, he was on a podcast. I think he was doing conscious TV, and he, the lady that interviewed him said, would you like to show the audience, self-realization? I was listening to David, and as he was talking, and it just becomes so obvious. I think it was the following day because the state of consciousness was really high. There's no high and low, but it was really present. And the idea came about the paradigm. I said, that's a flipping belief. It's not real. There is no paradigm. I've never seen it. I've believed it. Just like I believed birth and I believed death and I believed I was a limited body. It's all belief. The whole story, so I just smashed it. I just got rid of it. I just threw it out, Julie. I said, I don't need this. I said, off you go. Go on, off you go. Go on with your little story. Go away.
For me, there was also big chunk that just fell like instantly, like anger just dropped. I'm not sure. I feel like maybe those are the one that we were really already done with. Because I was a very angry person. I was really, really, really a lot in that.
Yeah.
And it was a few years that it started to soften, and then that dropped right away.
Yeah,
There is still a capacity, like sometimes anger will be here in the body. I know how it feels. I got interested in knowing what is it. And it's like it's bubbly, it's very energetic. And I can speak totally normally, asking something politely, knowing there is this personal little, energy inside.
Yes.
And the thing that I ask politely are better resolved, of course, so it's more efficient.
Sharon's
Yes.
joined us. I think Sharon might have just got my response.
Hey,
Hi,
hello.
Sharon. Did you
Hey,
just
can you
get
hear
my
me?
response? Did you only just get it?
Yeah. Oh, hang on a second.
Apologies.
Yes, because I wasn't sure. Why is my Zoom? It's fine. Keep going. Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay.
No problem.
Julie and I will just go away and think about it.
I laugh when you wrote in the email, so we just all went away.
Yeah, we'll just go away and think about it.
And we'll make plan, and we will plan.
Is that the end of the last meeting?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Was you there or had you logged off? Had you logged
No,
off?
I think I've already gone.
Oh, well, Colette said, yes, let's go away. Let's all go away and think about it. And the words hit everybody and we all just went into fits of laughter. Beings are going to go away. So we're just recording. Julie and I opened the meeting at 12 noon. And then we decided to record. Yeah, and just talk about what it means or how do self-realized beings move forward with challenges? Is that what I said? I've got it here. Okay, what happens to the self-realized being after self-realization? And we was just talking about the experiences with energies. And as
Thoughts.
it's recorded, you can get a copy of this as well.
So how are you?
I'm good. I had a long day today. I was actually thinking, because today and next Wednesday actually quite busy, like it's quite a long day. But normally it's not, just today and next week. But it's okay, I'll stay until 10 here. Don't know what time
that
it
will
is.
be yeah, another 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, I just want to see everyone. Right.
So how has it been for you then? What happened to you after self-realization? Sort of how did life present itself, or challenges, or how you dealt with them?
Since then, well, since that was January, end of January this year, I've been practicing functioning from effortless being. And then there will be invitation or challenges appearing, and some invitation more challenging than others. And this is what I found so far. And then there will be a period of time, it seems to be, there will be a period of time I seem to be trying to do something about it. Or, practicing being effortless being or something like that. And then something will happen that it's like, oh no, this is just, I don't know, just like I grow, or I got a deeper seeing, or something settled. And then whatever challenges it was seemed to not appearing anymore. So there was and then so there's those challenges, and there's also just the everyday lives, the little things, the house cleaning or doing houseworks, right? Like just being functioning from there, effortless being, more and more throughout my day. Yeah.
Do either of you use your mind to create? Do you have an interest in using the mind?
I've always wondered about that, actually. I remember, Amanda, with your story, because it seemed to, for you, from your story, it seemed to very easily came to you that way, or like the way you use your mind to attract things or to mirror. I was trying to somehow you catch yourself saying some words and you're just like, what? I was attempting to do that before,
Yeah.
like when I was reading The Secret and things like that.
Yeah. Me too. There was a phase.
Yeah, but I don't know. Never really worked that well for my part. I just stayed on this high energy instead, focusing on gratitude and joy. But certain mind things, maybe like money or career, not sure.
We're just asking because I tend to again, it is effortless. It is so natural. That is, I think I came to this planet doing it. Just for me, so in the morning, it is still effortless, and it is still inspirational, and it is still acknowledging the true self-realized being. So none of that gets set aside and then use the mind and pick back up again. It's all the embodiment. But for me, running quite a huge project and working with beings that are not self-realized in the mental health field, and then I've got staff to also communicate with, and other business owners, and then there's the end user. So there's quite a lot. So rather than have chaos, I just say, how would I like this to be for the greater good, for everybody, without superseding? And I know what I've got to do on a day-to-day basis. So I know, and I just see the car being parked correctly. I see a parking space showing up, because them things will quicken what I need to do. So I go ahead in the mind and do that. And then, of course, when it comes to dealing with people that are not self-realized, it's me just knowing that they are infinite intelligence. They're not the human being. So I don't really deal with telepathy. Telepathy can come, but I don't really tap into anything. But I just see the end result of, for example, there could be a service user that has 2 or 3 appointments, and maybe he's having some challenges around anger. And I just see the end of the day, them saying thank you, and me saying, well done, that was amazing. And that tends to happen. There can be loads of chaos in the middle, but I just hold on to the end image. I just hold it, and I will not compromise it. I'm not compromising. That is what I saw this morning. I am the power behind this story. And that's what
well, the only thing that always works for me is the car spot parking. That I always get. That I always get.
But even like with ironing and like doing housework, especially when I've had the grandchildren over, the next day I just look and think, oh, there's fingerprints everywhere. Teddy's on the sofa, and I just see it perfect. And then I just and because I've seen the end result, the body has to, I cannot express this, the body has to obey. The body cannot come back and tell you it's tired or aching. The body has to obey. It's got no choice, because the body is just the manifestation of the mind. So that everything's created twice, right? We see, it feels like we see the invisible and then the visible, but the visible is just our consciousness. So we've got, I say we have 2 minds. The mind that we believe is personal, our personal perception, and then that just gets projected and the mirror comes back. So I think being self-realized, and because sometimes the energies that can be really subtle within. So the physical mind will tell you what's inside of you. So if we meet an angry person, the physical mind is saying, there's still anger in you because I'm here in this form doing this.
Yeah.
And so it's to understand that, be honest with yourself, look for it. Well, it's got to be in me. It's owning it, really. It's got to be.
That's like, okay, because I'm an actor, and there'll be a few jobs, say I will see myself, like I do a lot of auditions, and maybe I want certain gigs, right, certain jobs. I've been playing around in one like that, like a seeing it, right? I can feel it. It comes naturally with me to be in that, to embody the emotion, or just acting wise. And I've also been practicing, like I watch a lot of the Sedona method with Hale Dwoskin, because I read the Lester Levinson, like that also resonated. Like I only did read The Greater Secret and Lester Levinson, and I think that's it. And David, Dr. David, that's it. Like I haven't really looked at anything else, and that's the one that resonated the most with me. So I was practicing between that the seeing of, say, my desire or my goal, the mind, and then there's the practicing of seeing like it's no one's desire, it's no desires, and things unfolding naturally. So I don't know if just like two different filters or the paradox of it. I'm still understanding what's appearing between different filters or different consciousness, I guess.
Yeah, because for me, it was understanding how on earth did a person go from the lowest state of consciousness to the top state? How
That's very extreme.
It's yes, and I am an extreme person to be.
Yeah, I think I'm more a gradual person.
No, not Amanda. So, excuse me, it was very frustrating because, not at first, because I was in the body of bliss for a few days and there was just no questioning. It was as if I'd never left home. But then I felt like God just dropped me and said, right, go and find out for yourself, kid. I mean, that never happened, but that's Amanda. And I'm examining the mind and I'm examining. And then I kept thinking, hold on, because I'd even forgotten that I used to dream of being free and having a wonderful life. I'd forgotten that I used to dream that. And it's only when I mentioned to Julie earlier that Bob Proctor's teachings helped me with thinkingness, with paradigms and perception, will, memory, all the faculties. When I heard him talk about imagination, a light bulb came on. I said, this cannot be true. There is no way on God's green earth did my imagination of being free make me free. I wouldn't accept it. And then I was looking back at other things. I thought, I imagined it and it happened. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. So I was fully persuaded, fully convinced that that is how it happens. And then I realized that for good and for bad, the things that I dreaded happened. And it was as if I was like, oh my God. Then I got scared to use the mind. I was really scared.
Yeah.
I was petrified. And then my mentor led me to Course of Miracles. And that is kind of undoing. It's looking at objects and saying that this table has nothing to do with me. This pen has nothing to do with me. But Amanda's mind, that is just, well, it's not now, but it was so untamed. I would see a giant spider on my bed, and I'd be like, oh my God, because I don't like it. And I'd come downstairs and that same giant spider would be on my door and it would be like a hand and I would think I'm imagining it. And then I'd blink and it would go away. I'd be like, no, my mentor, she snatched that program from me because I was creating crazy things. So it was as if my mind was fighting back. And it was like a battle. It was like Jesus and the devil. There was a real battle going on. And then it kind of started to come down. But in terms
how long was that? How long was that, Amanda?
What the
battle?
The battle. Do you know, I don't even remember because we don't really time. Oh, it's really difficult to. I don't know. A day feels like 1,000 years. It wasn't long. Maybe. Oh my God. maybe a month, but it doesn't feel like a month. It felt like an instant. Does that make it? Well, of course it makes sense. Of course it makes sense.
Maybe I can chime in on that.
Yes, please.
I went through this desire to create and reading The Secret in 2008, and it worked. I at the time I thought if I make more money, I will be happy. So I started to trade on the money market, and I was so into The Secret that it started to work, and I was making a lot of money with a small amount. And then it turned into I could see the mind saying, "That's boring. I will have nothing to do, and what am I going to do?" And their fear came, and then I started losing money.
Mm.
And I lost it, and I stayed in that state for desperation. And now I laugh because that was one of the greatest lessons that I could gather towards self-realization, because it had me drop this desire to have a lot of money. I saw it for what it is. It doesn't bring me happiness. It's not, it's empty. And from there, I kind of didn't like much the paradigm of manifesting, because I felt it made me in contact with lacking something. Like starting to want this and that felt
Yeah.
like I don't have it.
Yes.
And so I was, the interest in that, it dropped. But I always knew that I created, because, for example, I have a beautiful golden retriever, and my vision was to do mountain biking with my dog. And now I mountain bike with my dog. I mean, it's kind of, I knew that if I had an image, it would, it would get realized, although there was a lot of fear because I thought I was an individual, and it prevented me to really go out in the world and do things that I love. I was still believing to be someone doing something. And so it got to a point where it felt very, very empty, because I was like, I manifested and I'm not happy. What is the problem?
Yes,
Why?
yes.
Why? I have all I want. I have friends, I have a partner, I have safety, I have a house, I have a dog, I have activity, I had a good job with good condition, but it was empty. And I didn't want to go manifest anything else. I was no. So I started to want harmony, and it kind of got manifested with finding the greatest secret and realizing the last piece of the puzzle. I am not a person. I am not someone trying to do something. I'm just here. And life unfolds, and now it's more of an allowing it to be easy. Allowing, and I can have a vision. For example, I'm now becoming a coach, so I see people appreciating my work, telling me how it helped them become more at peace. If it doesn't show up this way, it's totally fine, but the enjoyment of seeing,
Yes, that's it. The
Yeah.
enjoyment of
the
Yeah.
enjoyment, there's no
Yeah.
attachment to it, has to
Yeah.
happen
Yeah.
in
That's what
this
I
way.
started seeing now. Yeah, I just see that of myself, say as far as acting career. That's what I see myself, maybe in roles or getting the job, or it's like I am happy, the happiness is there, but there's no manifestation sometimes.
But do you know what I
Oh,
found,
but
Sharon? Do you know what I found? I know it's very easy, because I have done some mentoring. I have done mentoring with people that have wanted to, and they've all created what they said. In fact, it's become better. But the reason for that is I tend to do one-to-ones and say to them, right, tell me what you want. Let me use my not my mind, but let me see what you want. And there's an ability for me to do that, to actually see what they're seeing, or at least get a really good idea because of the description that they give. And because it's not for me, there's no disbelief, because it's disbelief.
Yeah,
It's
you can
disbelief that
see, yeah,
stops,
you
because
can
for
see.
yourself, there can be that little subtleness of unworthiness, or how will it happen, or the questioning can come. But for somebody else, it's very easy. Oh, he wants a house, and yeah, of course I can see that, not a problem.
Yeah, no attachment. Yeah.
And that is why it is written somewhere. I've got that many books that I don't remember what book it's written in, but it's like being the difference between heaven and hell. How all the food is there, every part, everything that people like to eat, but people can't reach it. They've got long spoons. They've got really long spoons, and they can't get the spoon back.
It's out of
In
reach.
heaven, the food is exactly the same, but we feed each other. That's how we eat.
Yeah.
I think it's in the Sedona method. I read that when I was doing the Sedona method. But that so if ever you want any, encouragement, I'm here. Julie's here. Well, you've got all of us. We're all here, because that could be what is needed. Because it's also an act of giving love. When we are selfless is when we do see miracles. That's the field of miraculous.
And it's also when we can allow life to be easy, because if I think I am a person that I made a mistake, let's say I coach someone and I start to judge and believe I'm not good, I should take one more class. Then I will take one more class and I will prevent my dream by believing that I still have to work. If I decline the invitation that I'm not good, and I see that it is just happening and there is selfless love and listening, and then it's good. And so it changes the unfolding of life, the allowing of it being easy, and the allowing of not owning the result and the effort, and so it's kind of being in another dimension. Because previously I would never go for that. I would say, oh my God, I'm not good. Maybe I'm not going to success, or maybe I'm not going to. And all of these then drops. So then decisions are made. Decision happen. Intuitively, I like this, so I'm going to go towards that. There is no, but what if doesn't work? What if? Yeah. So it kind of, it's not like an effort being someone trying to manifest something. That's where I couldn't like, there was too much effort. I was like, even that, I don't want that.
It's so funny. It's like sometimes it is so simple, and then it's so the paradox sometimes. It's yeah.
But if we look through the filter of the mind, where beliefs are, and individuality, then it's impossible. It's like, this is not going to work. And then you start to think of all the action steps and the approval. Will people like me? And it's as if those programs are sat there waiting for anybody who wants to go and play in that field. So that's what it feels like. It's not personal. It's like, these are the programs. If you want to come and play in this field, it's like, do you want to go on the waltzers today? Come on then. This is what happens on the waltzers, and you can decline and say, no, thank you. I'd rather go on the ghost train. So then you'd go into the emotional realm.
The ghost train. That's funny. The haunted house. I believe this group came out of this enjoyment. I actually feel like I had this vision of this group, a belonging, an easiness, laughter, humanness, love, acceptance, and there was like a conscious imagining, I would say, about um, a kind of a sense of belonging and non-attachment at the same time, because
Yeah.
everyone can come and go and it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Spontaneity. So I believe this
I can't
level of
believe-
enjoyment and happiness brought this too. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's not a personal, it's just an allowing of
Mhm.
life to manifest the highest version it can. Kind of. Yeah. Mhm. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes,
I
perfect.
think it does. Yeah,
It doesn't and it does,
different.
Julie. It's both.
Yeah,
It's always
both.
like it doesn't,
It's
but
always
it
both.
does. Yes.
It's always both, because then there is just being and it
I
just
always
happens.
find it, yeah, sometimes like it just doesn't, but then it also does at the same time. I don't know why.
Maybe it's because you're in that field of intelligence where seeing happens, where oh my God, this is so wrong. Oh, this feels right. Who's the seer of the wrong and the right? I am. Maybe that's the field that you're in, where you see wrong, quote unquote wrong. You see right, quote unquote right, and you're the seer. You haven't moved, and they're both there dancing. So
I think sometimes I just see it. I might not have the understanding, and I don't know whether that's intelligence understanding or you know, like the I don't know who's not understanding.
could
But
be innocent.
sometimes
Mm,
it's like there's the seeing there, but maybe not quite. I
mm,
don't know, because I don't question or analyze it, or you know, I'm not like, you know, what is thoughts or what is this or what is that. I just don't. Um, I just see it, maybe feel it, welcome it. I'm just practicing that. I'm just trying to welcome it. And then, like I said, because mine's gradual, I think, Amanda, that's what, and then like the trickles of like, okay, a deepening, trickle of a little bit of a deepening. I think like that. That's how I felt
It's so
so far
nice.
yeah.
from January. Not like the whole suddenly a download. Like I
Yeah.
didn't get
It's
that.
so
Yeah.
nice though. It's so nice. It feels
Beautiful.
like
Beautiful.
spontaneous, organic, and
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
feels like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's really
I think
nice.
it's coming in trickles in my situation, which is fine by me.
Yeah, yeah. I love that there is no seeker, you know, there is just this, and it's beautiful.
I think that's the biggest thing with being surrounded by, I went to say like-minded, but it's not like-minded.
No mind.
Oh, in fact, the whole sentence "like-minded individuals" is laughable because we're not individual, and there's you know, the
No, it's like I can't talk. We can't talk
we can't,
anymore.
can we? We just do a silent retreat, a silent sitting. Oh, but it
Yeah.
is the beauty of it that we get to just
Mm.
communicate and be free, and whatever if teaching comes through, it comes through. Pointing comes through. There's no pointer, there's no teacher. It just comes through. Listening
Yes.
comes through. Observing. It's all these faculties of, I say we are diamonds with many facets. And the
Mm.
diamond's just turning, and the facets, you know, teaching comes through the form. And then being taught comes through the form. You then become students. Enlightenment, darkening. It's all coming through, and all of it. It's okay. It's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
I'd better go
Yes.
All
Yeah.
put
right.
my son to sleep. Is
What time
Sunday
is it
still
in
on, Amanda?
Australia? Sorry.
It's 10 past
Mm.
in the evening.
Okay.
That
was lovely.
Are we still doing Sunday, Amanda? The
Yes,
Sunday
yes.
10 o'clock, that's still on, right?
Yes, that's
With
still on.
everybody.
Yes. Yeah, we've done these meetings to record and to post on YouTube, but I'll have if that's okay.
Yep.
Which YouTube channel?
Um,
Yours?
Well, I will put it on mine, and I will also send it to David. I'll also send you a copy so you can put it on yours if you want to.
We were talking about doing at some point someone came up with the idea of doing like a group YouTube.
I'll stop